All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's hour number 3, which means we're an hour closer than we were last hour to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and your New Year's resolutions will be kicking in. Joining us now is the grandson of Billy Graham, pastor and author of a book that's out on New Year's Day. It's called It Is Finished. So when Tullian Tchividjian,
perfect.
I said it right. Oh,
very good. I'm impressed.
That was my New Year's resolution last year. When you said the book is finished, when you said it is finished,
yeah.
you meant it is finished.
Yeah, it is finished. The book is finished,
yeah.
And the message of it is finished is what's important
and
about the book.
I know we got it up on the screen. All right, 365 days of good news.
Yeah.
What is the book about? How to go about living life correctly?
Well, it's more good news for those of us who can't seem to get it right, which is all of us. In fact, I'm not on some campaign against making New Year's resolutions. The making of New Year's resolutions isn't our problem. It seems to be the keeping of New Year's resolutions is our problem. And I think, at least as I explore my own life and my own heart, when I explore what it is that prompts me to make something like a New Year's resolution, it's really this down deep desire to fix myself, this down deep desire to make myself better, to make myself more lovable, more likable.
But we all have that, and we all do that.
We all have it,
but then how come we don't follow through past February?
Well, and we don't really do a very good job of fixing ourselves and making ourselves more lovable.
Why not?
In fact, because we're flawed people. We're broken people living in a broken world with other broken people, and we want to get better. We want to do more. We want to try harder. We want to fix ourselves. In essence, we want to save ourselves and justify our existence. But it feels like we're living on this performance treadmill where we're constantly doing more, trying harder, doing everything we can to get better. And we all know that we continually fall short.
And it's a performance treadmill to get better, but it's also a treadmill, and I say this to my son all the time. I said, another year. I just feel like I get up, I go to sleep, I get up, I go to sleep. You know, we have weekends, but they go like this, and it's just nonstop.
Yep, life goes by very, very fast.
Right, so what could we do? What could we do to make ourselves better, and what could we learn from It Is Finished?
Well, what I talk about in here, and it's a devotional, which basically means there are 365 short readings, one for each day of the year. And it's essentially saying when we do everything we can to forge our own identity by who we are, who we're connected to, what we can become, we end up living a very, very enslaved, heavy life. It's when we understand that what really, really grants my life value and worth and those sorts of things and meaning is God's love for me, what God has done for me, not what I do. Right. That's hugely liberating to me because now I recognize that at my core, I am not what I do. That was Aristotle. Aristotle sort of enslaved all of us. He said a lot of good things, but he also, Aristotelian ethics, I was a philosophy major, so forgive me, but Aristotelian ethics was this idea that you are what you do, which sounds promising, but if we're all really, really honest, what we realize is we're not really doing that well.
And taking, not to interrupt, but taking it back to the New Year's resolution,
right.
So when you break it and you fail, then you see yourself as a total failure.
Total failure, which it's like, oh, I've blown it again. And so the idea that you are what you do sounds promising at first, but when you blow it, when you fail, you feel like a complete failure at life. Whereas in the Bible, what we learn is that you are not what you do, you are what God has done for you. That our worth, our value, our meaning, our significance, our security is ultimately anchored in God's love for us, what God has done for us. And that's really the message of the book. It's very liberating.
But then my question would be naturally to that statement, granted God's love for us is unconditional, but don't we have a responsibility to earn that and feel like we're keeping it and do right by it?
No. When that's a good, in other words, I think what we do sometimes
to be good people, and to succeed,
right.
and to behave in the way God would want us to behave.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think the good news of the good news that I talk about in here, however, is that because God's love is unconditional, it's not conditioned on anything we do or don't do. It's one-way love, which is far different from any of the kind of love that you and I experience horizontally with other people in our various relationships. Just about every single relationship we have is marked by conditionality. The one relationship that we can have that is marked by unconditionality is our relationship with God, which is
but in
very
no
different.
way are you looking. You want people to use what you're saying there as an excuse to do bad.
Oh, no,
No,
and,
no, I
and,
just
and they
wanna
won't.
make
And
that
that's the
clear.
thing. When
Yeah,
the
yeah.
message of God's unconditional love grips your heart, it doesn't make you want to take advantage of it. It makes you want to love him back. It's kind of like, I was telling someone this the other day. It's kind of like if my wife is treating me well in a moment when I'm not treating her well, and she treats me well in return, it doesn't make me want to keep being mean. It makes me feel sorry for what I've done and make me want to love her better.
Tullian Tchividjian.
That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
And,
Thanks
well,
for having
thanks
me.
for coming in. Okay, Merry Christmas, Happy New
Thank
Year, and
you.
all that. Folks, get the book. It is finished. And we'll be back because we're not finished. Tim Graham will be here. Don't go away.